Namaskar. This is New2 Live Talk. You are watching New2 Germany. This is Questions of Life. Like always, we have a special guest with us, Dr. Surekha Tiwari ji. She is a psychological counselor from India. Myself, Shraddha, you know me. And in this program, we are discussing any questions about life. So, in our last episode, we were discussing about the domestic violence. So, promised also to take this topic further and talk more about it. So, now today, Dr. Surekha has suggested a very point which we will take in this entire session. And the point is how to identify early the relationship that your partner may turn out to be an abuser. Dr. Surekha.
Thank you. There's been a slight delay in the second part of the series, so I hope my listeners haven't forgotten that in the first part of this series, we talked about that in relationships which are abusive are basically relationships which do not allow you your dignity. And dignity is not always that a partner has to hit you so your dignity is lost. It can even be married to a partner who does not respect you in public and in private, and a person who abuses you physically, abuses you mentally, abuses you emotionally, and a partner who thinks that the part the the life partner is actually an object, does not treat the person as a human. I do not ever ascribe to a particular gender being an abuser or a particular gender being a victim. Either of the two genders can be abusers or victims, which I have seen in a lot of cases in counseling. But one thing which I always round about and see is that who is the person who becomes an abuser? Who is the person who is the perpetrator of this violence? So sometimes when you look at the situation from an overview and you say that why did you hit your wife or why did you hit your husband, the person says I was under the influence of alcohol.
Oh,
So my first question always to them is that not all alcoholics hit. A few alcoholics sing after drinking alcohol.
hmm.
A lot
And
of
you,
alcoholics start dancing after alcohol.
after drinking, why don't you abuse other
Use your
people,
neighbor.
neighbor?
So, correct. There are a lot of people. In fact, Mirza Ghalib was infamous that he used to write the best poetry when he was had a little bit of alcohol. He says, "Nashe mein shairi achhi nikalti hai."
Mhm.
So alcohol cannot be the case. Then somebody said that I was very angry and frustrated. Why were you angry and frustrated? Because something happened wrong in my office, in my workspace, and I wasn't happy. So my question to them often is that why didn't you hit your boss? Why didn't you hit your subordinate? Why did you not hit the bus conductor who gave you the ticket a little late? Right? So that means this is also not a cause. So what exactly is the cause? How do you become a perpetrator? That is where I would like to take the focus of all my listeners today. The person who is actually out to make a victim is basically what he doesn't realize a victim himself. He has been a victim of maybe child abuse, where his ego was so badly battered and he was very small in size, as in small size of the body, or small size of his or his personality, that he couldn't retaliate. But that anger kept on building as a volcano. And one fine day, finding the correct partner, finding the correct outlet, it just came out. So that's the first which we need to realize, that the person who seeks a victim is basically somewhere a victim.
Hmm.
He or she has seen a time when they were completely crushed, when they were completely thrown in the corner by neglect of their family or due to other children in the family being stars. So these are people who will, when they grow up, they will not be able to take another person telling them that,
Mm-hmm.
just you just not enough. The anger is not on that comment. The anger is the anger which has been piled up for years. And then one fine day, put, it just comes out. That's one. Second, I have seen in all my cases of counseling where you see that there is a mismatch. There is something which is known as a narcissist, a person who thinks so great of himself. These are people who have an overinflated image of themselves. I am good looking, I am the best, I am the most intelligent, I can never be wrong, I am always so correct that you always will bow down to what I say. And this narcissism is again basically a very deep seated insecurity. Any kind of challenge, any kind of difference of opinion, they don't know how to handle that. So the only way they handle it with is violence. And when the victim is, it does not understand or does not see these signs early on in the relationship, after a while it becomes very late for the person to start protesting, because by that time the die is already cast. So as we were discussing that early on in your relationship, whoever, when you enter any kind of relationship, marriage, partnership, live-in partnership, whatever, the moment you realize that the person is trying to gain control completely over you, when we say control completely would be where are you going, why are you going, whom will you meet, how much time will you take, why do you need to go on a Wednesday, why can't you go on a Thursday, why can't you do it over the phone, why do you want to meet, why do you want to meet her or him. Very soon in the relationship, when these questions come, people should start questioning.
Yeah.
People should start thinking that why? Who has the time to look into our lives? We've got enough in our plates. You're going great. Some time is freed. That's number one. Number two, early on in the relationship, if you're able to see signs of overreaction on any small little argument, on any little small difference of opinion, this person starts screaming, starts shouting. He or she is building up, it's trying to build up the temperature of the argument so
High
that
tone.
that pent up frustration can come out.
Mm-hmm.
And he or she will blame the other person, saying that because you answered back, so I hit you. Correct? So this is the second part, overreaction. When you see overreaction earlier in the stages, that's when you start talking about, thinking about that something is not really great here. Third, if you early on in your relationship, you see this person talk about violence and validate. That friend of mine, he keeps everybody in check. The family is very afraid. And he's very happy with this thing. That wow, great, this man can control his life so beautifully. All the children are afraid of him. They go under the bed when the father enters.
Even though the bad image.
What, Shraddha, for what we are saying as bad is actually a validation of power. Correct. They think whoever, because a person who's an abuser, as I started in the beginning, a
Yeah.
normal, balanced
Mm.
person is not an abuser. For
Yeah.
you to be an abuser, there has to be a twist somewhere in the brain.
A different
So,
personality.
correct. That twist will give you this twist as well, where you start reading power as something which says that everybody is afraid of me. People scuttle around when I enter. One scream, and I can just get it done. So that is the third point,
Right.
right? Fourth, always watch. Mahatma Gandhi always said, if you want to know about a person,
Mhm.
then see how he treats people who work for him.
Yeah.
This is a very famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi. I think
Mm.
it applies here also. You don't have to be abused right in the beginning, and you may be able to avoid it later in the day also. But try and see how he is with the staff of the house. Is
Yeah.
he kind? Is he considerate? Is he able to control his temper with the driver if he's late? Is he okay with the maid not cleaning it very properly?
Mm.
You should be able to make out that for all such small issues also, how much of an anger builds up,
Mm.
how much of a overreaction. Whenever the word overreaction comes into your head for your partner,
Mm-hmm.
start thinking,
Yeah.
start thinking. And
Mm.
a overreaction can even be, see what will happen, a person who's been violent,
Mm-hmm.
correct? So now he or she is intelligent enough to know that once I've hit, then I have rocked the boat of the family.
Yeah.
So then what will he or she do? Then he will overreact to counter that damage. So again, there will be an overreaction.
Yes.
I can't live without you. My life is empty without you. If you go away, I will die. I can't see the world without you. Please don't go away. I don't mean it.
So,
All those things.
so what is the best way to identify these symptoms in early relationship? Like
So
as we are.
first of all, as I said, is overreaction. Anything with the partner is overreacting to. You must initially itself admit that this person can go beyond a certain line. जिसको हम लोग हिंदी में लक्ष्मण रेखा कहते हैं.
But doctor, in early relationship, we see that people behave very normally, very formally, So, do you want to advise something like if we just take an example of someone, some girl is going to marry a boy, or maybe a
In
boy
the
is going
first
to marry
place,
the
I
girl?
always tell them, why do they behave nicely? Because we also behave nicely.
Yeah. So
That
what is the
person
better
says,
way to
so
take them
that
out
person says,
for a drive or maybe for a dinner so that you can just check how
so
they
the
behave?
person says, let's go out for a Chinese dinner.
Yeah. Okay.
You hate Chinese. What do you do? Generally, you keep quiet. Hey, it's too early in the relationship. How can I say I don't like Chinese? Correct?
Yeah.
He says, let's go out for a science fiction movie.
Okay.
You don't like science fiction. But early in the relationship, what will you do?
Go and watch. We'll go and watch.
Go and sit there, get bored. What
Yeah.
are the message you're giving him?
Okay. So
Um,
I'm supporting
I
you,
can,
whatever you like.
I
Yeah.
can manipulate.
Uh,
This is the message you are giving. Right? So in today's times, I would I would tell people, and then when the time has come where things are working in such a fast pace around us, everybody is educated. Everybody, and girls and boys both equally, they are doing well for themselves. They are so early on in the relationship. Try and state honestly what you are. Don't try and play the fiddle with them. Don't try and tug the rein with them. And whatever you say, I am okay with it. Because you are giving the abuser a lot of strength.
yeah.
Honesty always helps. If you're able to tell the person what you are in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
he or she will definitely have a reservation that this person knows his or her mind, cannot be taken for a ride, and we don't need to be cruel or rude about it.
So, doctor, this is
We
about the partner, the intimate partner, if we are talking about. But what about the family members in which the girl is going to live, you know, or maybe the male person who is going to have another family, you know?
Mhm.
So it can be possible with any of the family member, not only the direct or intimate partner. So then how to,
Okay,
uh, uh, check this, or how to avoid
good
it or
question.
accept it?
Now, Shraddha, this is a very good question. Only thing being that this question is the next part of the series is this question:
Okay.
who are the people
Mm-hmm.
who will be abused? Believe me, this the statistics says 84%, 84% of people who
Mm-hmm.
are abused are the people who have decided or who have chosen
Mm.
to ignore, or who were very weak to not fight for their rights, or these were the people who somehow felt that they could not be alone.
Mm.
And
Yes.
with counseling, with a lot of, I would say, self awareness,
Yeah.
when they are made to see that you are a complete world, you don't need abusive people, you need good people in your life. These are the people who are able to come out with support.
Mm-hmm.
And at this note, I would also like to say that, when a child is born, parents are very happy
Mm-hmm.
that, wow, we have a child.
Yeah.
I would like to request all the parents who are and all the parents to be that please also raise children who are sensitive to other people.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in today's world, there was a time when people had 10 children, 12 children, 6 children, so many of them.
Yeah.
So there was always a kind of, so many children available. So you didn't have that much attention. You were just doing a good parenting. Right
Yeah.
now, the child focus of the parents have become so high because they have either one or two max children,
Yes. Yes.
that the child starts believing that the world is out there for me.
Yes.
The
Lack of
world, the
investment.
world, the people, all facilities are there on my click. And the entire focus of the world which I live in always has to be me.
Mm.
This is where the debate that we are right now rounding on is starting from.
So, doctor,
I'll
do
go
you
around the.
do you think that parents raise their children to keep this thing in the mind that one day they are going to live in the outer world and they have to handle the relationships also?
No, you don't know either tomorrow your child will have a relationship or not. But you can raise your child to be a sensitive individual. When you make the child sensitized to the need of the old, the weak, the servants in the house, when
Mm-hmm.
you teach your children to be respectful to even those people who are not so powerful.
So, you're saying that parents can also identify these behavior in the kid or maybe the child while they are raising them.
They don't identify. I think parents are, this is when they say this debt is always paid forward.
Mm-hmm.
What my parents did for me, I can't repay them. The
Mm-hmm.
only way to repay this debt is to do good to my child and
Mm-hmm.
expect that my child going forward will do good to the others. So, how does the child do good? The child is loved, that is unconditional. But is my child capable of giving love?
Mm-hmm.
Is my child capable of giving respect to my elders? Is my child capable of getting up from the bus seat and giving it to an old lady or an old gentleman for that matter?
Mm-hmm.
Is my child capable of sharing his piece of cake even with the maid in the house, knowing that this is also a human being?
Mm-hmm.
Is my child capable of understanding that if I have to do my own job, then I'm not being a maid, I am just being me.
So
So
do you think, doctor, that being a sensitive and a sentimental, or maybe how to say, the emotional, can help a person to understand that how the other person is feeling when he or she is creating such kind of behavior or atmosphere in the house?
very much, very much. It is not just about understanding bad behavior, it is also about fighting bad behavior. See, half the people who abuse are able to abuse because the person who they're abusing is not able to fight back.
Mm.
If I hit somebody the first time and I get a bigger thapper the first time, I will not hit the next time.
Mm.
For this hitting and this bad behavior to go on, however big the abuser, however angry the abuser, he never hits his boss.
Yes, of course, you said many of times.
He doesn't hit the neighbor, he doesn't hit the taxi wala because he's afraid, right? The
Yeah.
taxi wala will actually hit him twice over. The boss
Not
will fire him that very minute.
Mm.
So that means somewhere in the protective annals, in the survival antics of the head, everybody knows where is the line.
Hmm.
So if I am being abused, then I have to know how to draw that line.
Hmm.
And
So the
how do
first.
I draw that? How do I draw that line? Can only happen if I respect myself. You
Hmm.
cannot do this to me. I
Yes.
do not allow this.
So the first stage is very important.
Yes.
Hmm.
You must first understand that you are worthy.
Hmm.
B, your worthiness is not dependent on the other person's assessment of your worth.
Hmm.
Do not do bad to the other, but do not tolerate bad being done to you.
Perfectly all right.
And if the perpetrator or if the abuser can be made to see
Hmm.
that hitting other people will not clear off your childhood pain, abusing your partner cannot make you go back in your time frame and feel good about yourself because at one time when you were insulted publicly by somebody.
Hmm.
And this is quite achievable, Shraddha. I have seen this number of times in my counseling sessions. You sit across, you learn their history, you talk to them about their past. The key is in the past.
Yes.
Once you find the key, then you unlock the lock to good behavior. Because every human being in this world is divine. That's
Yes.
one faith which I keep, which I give. If everybody is divine, everybody is a part of a very beautiful divine whole. We just have to discover that part.
So, doctor, I would like to tell my viewers, in case they feel that they are also a one kind of person who is creating such a bad atmosphere for others, and they realize, okay, I was wrong. They they must consult a psychologist or a
Yes,
psychological counselor.
very well understood, Shraddha. Very well understood, Shraddha. Good. It is
Yeah.
not always the abuser, it is abused who needs counseling. It is also those people who see themselves as the abuser, but they don't want to continue to be an abuser. There is help for them. They
Because our
don't need to continue that way.
mental states actually changes. We cannot behave like a same manner all the time. So
Good.
sometimes we are a good father, a good son, good friend. So if you are realizing that, okay, you are choosing a wrong path for yourself and for others, you must consult to a doctor. And our Dr. Surekha, she is the best person, and she really touches these kind of topics, and she's helping people in India and abroad. You can contact her, and also you can always write down to us on anjana.singh at new2app.com. This is the email ID, and we will keep your identity very personal. And Dr. Surekha, we will take this topic further also with some different, point. For this time, I think I should say thanks to you for coming in our shows and giving light on so many important topics of the
It
life.
is my pleasure, Shraddha. And I really want to appeal to all the viewers who are listening. Please feel free to write about your problems. Uh, the world is a very beautiful place full of very beautiful people. You don't need to feel alone. You don't need to feel in pain. You can seek help. You don't need to write your name. Just write to us. Just share with us. And we promise to be there with you in our heart, in our head, trying to pull you out of your mess. And you will find the strength to come out.
Thank you, Doctor. Viewers, you can find the details in the description box and keep watching New2 live talks and also explore our more videos in New2 Germany YouTube channel. We will come next time and discuss some other topic. Till then, namaskar. Thank you. Bye bye.